Ah, video. Yeah. Been a while. Yeah, you know, whatever. Just busy stuff, things. Yeah, reality, mostly. Anyway, comments. I gotta figure out what to do some more of these. I didn't finish a couple of ones I wanted to get to. Yeah, you know, these. It would be nice if YouTube had a consistent way to, whatever the word is for this, added metadata for videos. There just wasn't spam. So, they had this stupid keywordy thing. Keywordy thing. Okay. That got that funk guy did a video. I was just complaining because somebody thought he was gay, and it's like, well, yeah, I thought you were gay too. But anyway, go figure. And he's talking about hugging. And you're like, that's pretty gay. Sorry. I mean, it's not really a man thing. Men hump. I really can't. Hug, hump. If you ain't humping, you ain't hugging. Mostly. Of any use. Personally. Anyway, side subject altogether. Where was I? Yeah, the keyword thing. So, well, apparently they are indexing based on these tags. They said they weren't, and so they apparently are. But anyway, yeah, so okay, I'll start trying maybe. So I've said this before. But anyway, I do title the... Well, anyway, people just always... Whatever. Who cares? I don't care. All right, I'll start with this this Andrew, the red guy. I think, he's sort of really annoying. I think poor conditions tend to exacerbate personality or behavioral faults. Well, yeah, duh. But this isn't about that much knowledge, is it? So people keep talking about education, all this shit. No, you don't even need to know much mathematics beyond like 9 plus 7 or something. A comparable to the understanding that, oh, you're a human being on planet Earth. The other human beings have to, go to work, earn money, make a living, blah, blah, blah. And, this whole idea of just, urinating in elevators or something. Apparently it's a big thing in New York now, urinating everywhere. I mean, it doesn't take much more knowledge than, 9 plus 7. I mean, we're not talking about high education here. We're talking about just something fundamental and rudimentary about just basic considerations. So to make excuses for people, there really aren't any excuses. They're doing it because they're taking everything for granted. And what's the other term used when somebody isn't appreciating something? Where they have no appreciation and they're literally pissing on stuff because of that indifference. And we should shoot a few of them so they gain some appreciation. Just, cops shouldn't, all the things to shoot. There's so many worthwhile things to shoot, and it's just amazing that cops can't kind of figure out how to shoot the things that really need shooting. But I mean, it's just so, it's like the graffiti thing. I've had this argument with people. It's just so fundamentally rude to presume that somebody else wants to look at your art. I mean, it's rude. It's fucking rude. And somehow they don't know that, and that's like a 9 plus 7 thing. Okay, it's not like 2 plus 2, but it's really not difficult. And so there's bullshit, there's excuses for this. I say the only excuse there is that the smart people are too stupid to figure out they have to tell stupid people when they're being stupid. They have to actually say, fuck you, cunt. They actually have to let the dumbass poor know it's disgusting. You being pregnant on welfare is disgusting. That's what they have to let them know. They can't pretend that, oh yeah, put a wig on and a smiley face and it's all okay. No, it's not okay, you stupid smelly cunt. And it's not okay to be pissing in elevators. Shit. Whereas privilege conditions tend to cover them up or influence their correction. Quite obviously, being rich can help. It can buy you psychiatrists and all this kind of stuff and medication and blah, 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 blah. But really, come on. Yes, yeah, all right. Look, the human nature is kind of fucktarded. I've certainly been, I've certainly had plenty of conditioned neuroses that have plagued and blighted my entire life, which I'll have to go into because some asshole brought it up. But, but let's be realistic. That isn't the majority of people aren't blighted by some kind of psychological condition beyond not being able to do the character 9 plus 7. I mean, just the simple math of decent character. However, there are many successful people who emerge out of poverty. This is just such a... You know how fucking trite and sickening and disgusting it is when you jackasses do this? Look, there are people who win the lottery. Yeah, there's people that win the lottery. That doesn't justify the lottery, jackass. Because millions, now billions, don't. I mean, they actually have lotteries that are 1 billion to 1 odds. Go figure. Doesn't make it make sense. So that, that kind of bullshit. How many successful people really emerge out of poverty in any kind of way that you could call meritorious? I mean, beyond being some snappy rapper kind of bullshit. Some celebrity. Sports bullshit. I'm talking about doing something really credible or decent in the world. And any ones that do that, they end up being like some kind of Al Sharpton shyster motherfucker. I don't even think he came from poverty, but it doesn't matter. So even with these often very uphill battles, so now you've done your tritism, and now you're going to use that as a premise for some sort of argument. Yes, once in a while, poor people become successful, so therefore poor people are terribly useful. No, the amount of success that comes out of poverty is so minor and minuscule that it could never justify the horrific misery that poverty perpetuates. As policy, we are still left with praising the meritorious and the endemic poor, and not the endemic poor. See, so again, he's saying, let's praise the meritorious and we'll just ignore the tremendous blight caused by the vast majority. So because once in a while a criminal writes a best-selling book, therefore it's just great to have crime. No. Fuck you. You're just too silly, too trite. You're just, this is like the death tax kind of rhetoric. I mean, this is fucking goddamn... This guy is supposed to be in education. Yeah, well, figure out that you haven't taken civics beyond fucking grammar school, douchebag. Our pity, our praise of the latter doesn't help them, but only helps shallow consciousnesses. No, the fact is, if you don't reward and punish behavior, monkeys, any kind of animal learns by reward and punishment. If you keep doing this crap, if you keep making excuses for bad behavior, you'll continue to have bad behavior, you stupid cunt. I mean, it doesn't take, and it's not some kind of draconian horror, unless you're Anacondavat or some other kind of lunatic, to impose a little bit of guilt, a little bit of sense of responsibility, a little bit of, gee, I better do a little bit better than this. No, that isn't a horror. Fuck you, asshole. Colossal asshole. I don't know what this numbly numb. Sometimes he just says stuff that, how long must I know the pain of being a rich man trapped in a poor man's body? I don't know what that means. I suppose I'll just have to make do with bitterly sniping at anyone who has more of anything than I do. It sounds like some sort of satire or something. Bitterly sniping. So you think it's bitter sniping when somebody says, hey, you know what? The 1% have more wealth than 3.7%, 3.7 billion, half the people on Earth, or some kind of crap like that. And that wealth is real. It's not fake. It represents, it's cashable in real hard labor. Trillions of dollars of hard labor owed to a bunch of pompous douchebags. And so that's bitterly sniping. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Alright, here's this asshole. I'll do this comment first because this was funny. Gewollt. I only have 4 pairs of underpants and they always have skid marks because I wasn't taught as a child to wipe my ass properly. I smell of poo and collect my own jizz in empty marmalade glasses. Once in a while I sputter my toast by accident. I cannot work as I have a TV addiction disorder and faint when I am more than 4 meters away from it. I think it's quite funny. I think I'll thumb me up that also. Quite funny. Yes, but it's too literally fucking goddamn true. It really is too literally fucking true. I mean, I'm still cleaning the disaster house next door. You know, they were called hoarders, and what they were pigs. But I mean, just yeah, there's layers of televisions. You know, they're 1960 televisions still buried in the house. Anyway. Alright, so this Malugas guy, I don't even know what that means, if it's fucking goddamn... You're a fucking troll. I mean, this asshole sent me some PM. Oh, I really like your videos. Don't take anything personally. No, you're a troll, you motherfucking little weaselly cunt. God, I wish you'd make videos, you douchebag. So I could just rip you new assholes every fucking day. Oh, I hate them. Hilariously great video. Yeah, fuck you. But I have to be honest here, 904. Haven't you been on disability since 1980 for your anxiety disorder? What does it have to do with the video? Again, I had never said anything in my videos that wouldn't apply to myself, okay? So, yeah, if there's going to be a death penalty for being fucking useless, then I'm useless, then yeah, I get it, the death penalty. Asshole. What is it? Nothing of my personal life is fucking relevant. I mean, I'm not the hypocrite he's making me out to be, but I mean, beyond that, I mean, it's like this vegetarian argument. I've said it before. If I made an argument talking about how, hey, you know what? The other animals you're eating are called mammals. They're categorized based on having very common features with us. Short distances into the past, just millions of years, for example, we have common ancestors with them. That means they're basically some kind of uncle of yours, you know, removed a few 100,000 times. But that's what they basically are. They have this feeling brain and they suffer. Now, if I said that and I still ate meat, how does it change what I just said, fuckface? Oh, that's right, it doesn't change it the fuck at all. I make arguments on the internet, if you haven't noticed, jackweed. Alright? And who I am, or what I am, is so totally... If I was a fucking goddamn Martian, a reptilian, it really wouldn't make a goddamn difference, would it? The arguments stand on their own. They don't need the messenger to massage them for you, or to say it in a James Earl Jones voice and make it mean something. No, the words either mean something or they don't mean something, you fucking cunt. And you're just being a cunt here, anyway. I believe it was labeled as agoraphobia at one point. Well, if you believe all of this stuff, then apparently you've done some notice of this and maybe you could get it right. But it was never labeled as agoraphobia, to tell you the truth, okay, on any of the psychiatric documents. It was labeled as a personality disorder. But who the fuck cares, right? And you know, don't pretend you don't know what the internet's like, and don't pretend that if you know this stuff, then you know that people have had cops at my house, okay, done all kinds of weaselly, slimy things, and that any personal information you put on the internet just puts you at jeopardy. You're hiding, you motherfucking cunt, behind a fake identity. You don't make any goddamn videos. You don't show your motherfucking cunt face, and yet you'll sit there and put other people at jeopardy with these personal insinuations that people like me have to defend themselves against, you fucking weaselly cunt. You're just such an obnoxious jackass. I wish you would just fuck off. Man, you just are so disgusting. But in other videos you said essentially you're not wanting to be around other people because they disgust you. No, what I've said is people make me throw the fuck up. Okay, so it's a little bit worse than just being disgusted, like, oh, I just don't like people. No, they make me sick to my stomach, much like you could even compare it to like being seasick or vertigo, all right? It's incredibly unpleasant as a sensation, fucker, all right? And I've had to live with it my whole fucking life, essentially, since I was about 14 is when it started, and those I have to concede were the worst years, okay, from 14 to 24, because those are the years I was still in the world and still trying to live with it and watching my world get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And it really isn't, like I said, why should I have to defend myself to you, you fucking anonymous coward? Why don't you put your life on the internet so I can call cops on you, so I can go fuck with your life, you fucking cunt. So, and this is the worst part. So you're basically collecting checks for being an extreme misanthrope. No, you can't get disability unless it takes 2 years. You get automatically denied. It has to be decided by a judge. It's basically a court hearing. All right, so your notion that this is just some sort of thing that you just show up, especially being a male without children or anything. There's no welfare. There's no infrastructure that saves your life, you stupid cunt. I mean, it's just so obnoxious. I mean, if he knows this much, he knows that, that's right, for the first 10 years of my working life, okay, I saved all my money, enough of it anyway, to pay for my own college education that I wasn't able to go to, and then I had to squander all that money just to survive once the condition got so serious that I couldn't even leave the house. There was a period where I couldn't even leave rooms. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, I wish it on you, you fucker. I mean, this obnoxious to sit for nothing but being an extreme misanthrope. I mean, I can just say to you, I don't like wishing harm on people, but I mean, you deserve it. This grotesque and obvious lack of just complete disregard. I mean, it's disgusting, you cunt. You haven't walked one step, one fucking yard in my shoes, and you'll pass judgment on my personal life without showing me any part of your personal life, fucker. Anything that you've accomplished or done with your lousy, stinking, scurvy existence. You fucking ratty piece of crap. And yet you'll get personal on the internet. You aren't busting your ass and working through your phobias, says you. So these are gross accusations, just gross accusations. Like I have to defend myself against this kind of gross accusation. Like you somehow know my medical history, which you goddamn motherfucking cunt don't. You're collecting government checks in your bubble just like the people you malign. Well, I don't even want to get into it, but collecting government checks, $700 a month? Yeah, go try to live on that, asshole. I'm sure this will piss you off. Yeah, you know what? It should piss everybody off. It should piss anybody who gives a fuck about a fair fucking contest or a fair fight. You put nothing on the line. You sit there and use, like I said, any honesty people will provide on the internet, and you punish them for it. That's all this is. So there's no point in being honest. Everybody should be an anonymous coward like you fucking cunt. Then you don't have this kind of nonsense, right? So the fact that I have been willing to be honest about my circumstances, you'll make sure you punish people for doing that, because you're going to sit there and make lying accusations that I have to defend myself against at my own fucking jeopardy. And you'll delete this, but I have to ask the question, as it seems very hypocritical. What part seems hypocritical? Oh, the fact that I think poor people should have some humility and appreciation. Isn't that what I said in my video? Did I, what exactly did I say in this video you're responding to indicate anything other than that they, if they're going to take their check, they ought to appreciate who's paying for it and what they have to do to pay for it, and that, like in all these examples, you won't find any luxury items here, right? I haven't bought anything new, okay, that costs more than $20 in, you know, forever. I got a $50 fucking computer cunt bag, and this was given to me, so I mean, it's, you know, that I have to admit, okay, so I have some things that people give me, you know, that make my life a little better. But I don't, you know, I live meagerly because I do have appreciation for the fact that I don't have the right to expect anything else. Shit for brain motherfucking cunt. And the fact that I would say that poor people should have to have that appreciation, they should be able to tell that other people might like to have children, but they can't afford to do it because they have to pay their welfare check. That makes me a hypocrite somehow? I don't think so, you cunt. Yeah, and so, yeah, I mean, there's no real point, okay? I mean, I'm just, you've been rude and disgusting, you know, for a year now. You know, I mean, blocking doesn't work, but yeah, I'm just going to say, yeah, I'm just going to delete your comments. You really don't, you have no respect, and therefore you have no right. You're cheating. And you can't figure that out. You know, 13 thumbs up for this kind of a cheat. This kind of personal evasion from anonymous cowards. People who put nothing on the line. Absolutely nothing. Not even their ugly motherfucking face. Not even their big pus-covered fucking noses. Not one goddamn thing to pick on. You fucking weasels. So there's probably a bunch of people in here who got everything wrong. He also said he would like to do other kinds of jobs than the low-paid ones, so I assume it's a bit more complicated, but I love to read the answers anyway. Yeah, well, whatever. You'd love to, what, get personal. Well, it's just such a pile of shit. I mean, obviously I have a ton of skills. You don't acquire skills by not doing any work, okay? So, I mean, obviously I've done a ton of work. You can't repair cars unless you've repaired a lot of cars, and you can't install furnaces unless you've done a lot of plumbing. You can't do electrical work unless you've got electrocuted a few times. I mean, these are truths, motherfucker. Alright? I mean, I can show you a picture of me in a 15-foot deep hole on this property, okay? Repairing a sewage line. You think somebody unskilled could do that? Somebody unskilled could locate the problem, have a backhoe dig a 15-foot deep fucking goddamn hole, and actually hit the exact right spot, which I did. You know, I did in one day. In one day, I did what a contractor would have charged $11,000 to do. And I did it in one day. Fuck you. I'm absolutely fucking goddamn brilliant, and you're fucking goddamn obnoxious to think I've sat around and watched TV all goddamn day. You cunt. Alright, morbid atheist. You don't choose to have an anxiety disorder, you do choose to have kids. You know, well, that's not irrelevant either, but whatever. Was that so hard to understand? Look, well, yeah, there's lots of things that are choices, but you know, the whole concept of disability is complicated because there's a point where, yes, you have to just concede that your disability makes you unsustainable. Okay, there's people who society has spent $2 or $3 or $4 million to keep alive, millions of dollars, and it just makes no sense because to do millions of dollars of labor means that somebody has to just do drudgery, live in horror essentially for decades of labor. And so the value of your life is lost because it costs so much nastiness. And it's just a fact. I'm not imposing anything. I'm just imposing the truth. And the truth is if I would have had the free right to choose to die, I would have done it when I was fucking 11 years old. And I've advocated for the right to die, and I would have taken advantage of the opportunity. I mean, at the moment, I have a few projects where I can see more value in my existence, but through most of my life, yes, I could see that I was running a deficit and there would be no point in sustaining my existence. So where's my hypocrisy? But I mean, it's a truth. I mean, sometimes your life is just a shit and you're better off dead and society's better off dead. You think there's nobody on earth, the human race isn't better off if they were dead? There's no Hitlers walking about on earth somewhere? And then I mean Hitlers in terms of their capacity to spread disease or do some other kind of nastiness. Let's see, like the stupidity of anarchism and how to breed like rabbits, that should at least equal a full-time job. Well, whatever. Do you know for sure that he has a similar condition, or you're just reading comments and making assumptions? What does it doesn't, again, this whole thing is put me on the defensive, right? That's all this kind of bullshit ever is. These people can't make a legitimate counter-argument. They can just attack the messenger and force the messenger to make corrections and say, that's not the truth, you fucking lying cunt. Okay, your implications are inappropriate and of no merit. I don't know what else to say. I remember him saying he couldn't accommodate to certain jobs and school due to condition he has. Well, look, it started when I was 13, right? 14. You're getting bad, all right? Yeah, and so first it was family vacations I couldn't go on, and then there was, you know, traveling to New York, which now I can't do that anymore. The elevators, tall buildings, boats, you know, just things got narrower, narrower, narrower. And yeah, by the time my final year of high school, I had to walk around the building to get from one class to another. They actually weren't going to give me my diploma because I didn't go to gym the last year of the last year and a half of high school. I never went to gym, and it was a state requirement. But they gave it to me anyway because, you know, they didn't want to they didn't want it to look bad on their record. Oh yeah, well, we failed him, you know, because he didn't go to gym. Maybe someone who knows better will point out the video, or Gary will answer this. Well, again, why should I have to answer it? I shouldn't have to. I should be able to volunteer personal information. And, you know, but this whole idea that you're going to use my personal life as an argument in these philosophical arguments is just such bullshit. What does it have to do with the merits of the statement? Poor people should be more grateful and appreciative of what is sustaining their existence. The work, the inconvenience, the burden, okay, that other people have to endure to make their lives comfortable. They should have appreciation for that. What about that statement obliges me to do anything personally? On the other hand, I'm really interested in the Apple's point of view and the gift of Mingan symbol, whatever the hypocritical. Hypocritical again. I mean, you know, it's just amazing. He might turn is less importance for my understanding of the situation. Yeah, again, so this whole, again, so here this rhetoric is working. So, you know, this mudslinging works because now people are just going to say, oh, well, yeah, maybe he is a hypocrite, but it doesn't matter, but Gary's Gary, and it's okay. It's all right for Gary to be a liar. No, it isn't all right. And he isn't. And you people suck. You know. All right, here he is. You act like he's missing a leg or something. Oh, man. I wish it was that simple to tell you the fucking goddamn truth. I wish I could give it to you, okay? I wish I could give you a taste of the disease for a good month and let you live in a state of anxiety and see what it's like when you know, a crow out in a tree has you so bothered that you're thinking about putting your head under a wheel to get your head crushed. I mean, I don't even want to, like I said, you suck so fucking much. I just can't even say how much you suck, you fucking cunt. You haven't lived it. You don't know a damn thing about it. You obviously you've done zero research, because if you look into this at all, it's about as, you know, mental illness is about as bad as it can get. You know, I personally had major social anxiety. Oh, you're saying you have major social anxiety. I don't believe you, fucker. Guess what? I don't believe you. There's no way you've had major social anxiety and that you could possibly be this unsympathetic and just unrealistic in your understanding. And still have major sleeping issues. Well, that's your problem, asshole. I wish I had sleeping issues. Gee. Due to anxiety that I received medication for. Gee, I wish I had a problem. Oh, you're like fucking Anticontavod in your jet lag. Oh, you have a little bit of jet lag. Oh. Tisk. Fucking goddamn tisk. 10 years ago, it was difficult for me to go out in the world and do shit. You're a fucking liar, because if it was difficult and your life depended on you going out, do you need money, fuckhead? What are you living on, shithead? So your whole life is, my life was ruined, okay? Just totally ruined. I had saved money, I had been accepted at colleges, alright? And it all just right through my fingers because of this, you motherfucking cunt. You're this trivial what? So you couldn't go out in the world, so what'd you do? How'd you fix it? Well, how did you live? But I felt I didn't have a choice. Oh yeah, well that certainly makes all the difference, right? So yeah, go up to the mentally ill and just say, gee, you have a choice. You don't have to be crazy or neurotic. Go up to somebody with vertigo and just say, look, it's just an image. How can an image possibly make you throw up? I mean, that's just silly. Go ahead, Mr. Therapist. God, I hate you. I thought I was going on disability or something. Never crossed my mind. Well, that's because I guess you're just fucking lying, all right? And I'll put you to a $10,000 a polygraph challenge, okay? We both get hooked up to the polygraph and we'll see who's the lying weaselly cunt, okay? Because this is the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever goddamn heard. If you've really had an anxiety disorder of any kind of substance, there's no choice involved, you fucking cunt. I choose to be mentally... No, I don't think I'll be mentally ill because it's just not financially practical. Fuck you. I lost everything. My car, my life, 10 years of work savings. All of it. All my potential. I had all kinds of deals. I was a mover and a shaker, you motherfucker. And all that got whittled down to, working at 3 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't, face the daylight. I mean, fuck you. So I worked through that shit, and it's way easier now. So you're the answer, right? So all alcohol, if you stop drinking, so therefore you're the expert on alcoholism, there's no such thing as somebody with any real problem. Why don't they just quit drinking? Oh, you just suck. You can't get hit by enough cars. I didn't choose to have an anxiety disorder, but I chose how to deal with it, like how I dealt with it. Yeah, again, so... just ignore the fact that I have been on medications, paid $400 an hour for a psychiatrist, paid therapist, paid psychologist. So fuck you. Just fuck you. Unlike having a broken fucking leg or something physical like that, you can work through this mental bullshit. God, I just want to run you over. Having anxiety is probably the worst excuse you could have for getting disability checks. I can't believe he just said that. Having anxiety is probably the worst excuse you could have. There's no way you've had it. No fucking way. By the way, I'm not trying to rag you. Oh, fuck you! I mean, you just can't be any smellier of a skanky piece of shit. God, I hope I win the Nobel Prize just so I can, I'll have the cachet to be able to go up to Google and say, let me know who the fuck this cunt is. And I wouldn't have brought it up in this video, wasn't specifically making points. No, it wasn't specifically making points. What point was I making besides the fact that poor people should be humble? What other point was I making, you stupid cunt? Oh, that's right, I wasn't making any other fucking point. If I said they should all have to dance the twist. Well, then I'll go dance the twist, okay? I count myself among them. Gee, you just suck so bad. Straw man exaggeration, or what you call it, defeating an argument by overstating it. I never said or implied he was missing a leg. You did. Well, like I said, frankly, I could have gone to college without my leg. Again, it's not a choice to have an anxiety disorder. You have mentioned, but it is a choice to have kids and well, whatever. I don't want to subsidize someone's reproductive choices. Okay, that's making the argument, and the argument should be made outside the realm of my personal life. I don't know what it's like to have an anxiety disorder. I don't care if someone collects government checks for it, because if it helps them, the money goes back into the economy anyway. Well, that doesn't, realistically, whether money goes back into an economy or not, doesn't justify the fact that many people, you have to value add, and if there isn't anything value added, where I think it's clearly, I could argue, even in defense of my existence, which I wouldn't defend, I'm not supporting my creation or my recreation in another generation. So, but regardless, I think I could defend my life in the sense that the truth is I was fairly capable, and I was able to help an awful lot of people in all kinds of subtle ways that have nothing to do with commerce. Well, if you care so much about arguments, reread my previous comment, because I'm not going to repeat myself. Well, fuck you. Just fuck you. I wasn't talking about your statements. I was talking about your philosophical arguments made by... I was talking about the philosophical arguments made by inmendham, yeah, which you didn't come near. Not any direct arguments, right? Just arguments about me, my personal life. And, of course, all mentally ill people. People who have disability is not the same as people who have children. Okay, we already get that. Like I said, having an anxiety disorder isn't like missing a leg. Well, again, you can keep saying that, but frankly, go ask the homeless people or something else whether they would trade 50 years of an anxiety disorder for their leg. Frankly, I would make the trade. Honestly. I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, no, I wouldn't give up my nuts or my penis, but a leg, yeah. To have peace of mind, yeah, in a minute. You don't have to go on disability. Well, missing a leg, you don't have to go on disability, frankly. All right? I mean, really. I mean, nowadays especially, it's really not even hardly a problem. It's your choice. I choose to work through my anxiety problem. So again, it's what it's like. You've been a heroin addict, you've been a cocaine addict, you've been an alcoholic, you've been everything on earth, and you know exactly what it is to get over it, so to speak. So it doesn't matter what the disease is. I can give you bingy fever or something, and you know how to cure it because you have a herb or something, because you're just Mr. Magic Man, right? You're just Superpower Man. Fuck you, and like I said, I can't wish it on you harder. Go ahead. I hope you get every bit, every ounce of the horror bites you in the fucking nutsack hard. You can't even get over your impotency, I bet, you fucking weasel. Other people choose to take advantage of the system, saying they have an anxiety, and just like people choose to have children. Well, again, so it's just it's just a gross attack on my character, calling me some kind of liar. Like, oh yeah, I could have still gone out, and I could have done this, and I could have done that. And like I said, when I did it, I worked for 6 years with hard anxiety every fucking day. I mean, so bad I'd have to run out of the building, get air, doing all. I mean, just every day was a horrible frustration, like some sort of battle for your life in a war or something. It was just as nasty as it could be for me just to meet the standards of employment, to get in my car, to drive to work, to deal with the people, deal with this stuff. It was just fucking vomit in my mouth every goddamn day. You fucking cunt. Like I said, I just can't I just wish it right on you, because you're just the only way. It's the only way you can learn. The only way you could appreciate, apparently, is you have to have it happen to you. Fucking cunt. Alright, him saying simply doesn't want people around because they disgust him. Again, no, they make me vomit. And vomiting is very unpleasant. And there is plenty of footage of him functioning in the real world and doing work. Yeah, show me the picture of me in a store. I for the first time last year, before last, technically, I guess, I went to the mall here, you know, it's like about a mile and a half away, and to that parking lot, and I haven't been in that parking lot in 25 fucking years. Yeah, right. Plenty of footage of me doing what? So him ragging on people for getting disability while he chooses to continue. See this? It just fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Like I said, don't dare come near my channel again, you weaselly piece of shit. Having any kind of mental disorder is a fucking choice. It's just because it isn't like missing a leg doesn't mean that it's a choice. Okay, well anyway. Yeah, okay. Morbid Atheist muted him. Interesting. Some of the worst arguments I've ever heard, by the way. Yeah, well the argument was that you're not arguing the argument made in his video, which is poor people should be appreciative of where their money comes from. And you certainly haven't pointed out where I don't have appreciation for the fact that my disability has made me less than, not as productive as I certainly had expected to be in my life. But the truth is, it all came out kind of funny in the end, right? Because if I do actually win the Nobel Prize, well, then all that kind of works out, because then the point is that, well, shit, you know, even doing it the wrong way, I still won, because I'm just too good. I'm too good to even be destroyed by horror. Okay, I already addressed the important points. You didn't address shit. And you're sitting there twisting details like, well, it doesn't show him working with people. Details. It's not a detail, jackass. I don't know what world you live in, but the only way you can make money from home is being a lying or a thief. Okay, I mean, you know, tomorrow I could be making whatever, $30 an hour as a plumber or an electrician or some other thing like that, a contractor of some kind. No problem. You know, not that I want to go back to roofing, but, you know, like that has any bearing on my point, on what my point was. No, your point is not valid. Your point is obnoxiously rude, and it's false, which just makes it a slander. You're a fanatic and you accept whatever Inmendham says without question. Again, what is he accepting? Inmendham says poor people ought to have humility. Oh my God, what a horrible thing. Which is exactly why you're muting me. Pathetic. Okay, well, what's pathetic is you scum. You're a piece of scum. Okay, and the fucking jackasses who rated up your comments are scum. You're all gutless, anonymous scum cowards. And fuck you, die. Yeah. Miserably and horribly. Just, you know, frankly, because somebody needs to get educated. I mean, you know, I'd like to say I'd like to say there's some way I can justify that. I can't, but it's just that, you know, this is why the world sucks, is that assholes like this get away with it and there's no punishment. There's no punitive response by the Justice League. You know, there's nothing to show up to sit there and give him a good kick in the ass so he feels the pain. There's no rudeness for rudeness. And so it continues. But man. Fucky Yui. That's it. Oh, Jesus. Alright, so that took up an awful lot of time here. I wanted to get to some of these new assholes. Alright. Left, right, inverted reality. Put our gaze upon the place where it will be sorted out while stealing our money. I don't know. What the hell? People are products of their time. No, they're products of their environment, their culture, but they're not products of time. There's no such thing. Time is kind of irrelevant, right? I mean, there's people still living in, the year 2 or something. I mean, they're religious kooks. They believe in silly fables. They're thousands of years old. There's people living in all kinds of different worlds, but I'm just saying there's no such thing as a time. I mean, there's no, who's a product of a time? We're products of information, and we're products of exposure, and we're products of arguments that we've heard. But we're not products of time. I think that's just kind of silly. I mean, that's just too reductionist. The behaviorists were psychotic nabobs. Stephen is talking here. Oh, I'm going to go Stephen Mallier. Your philosophy that every human on earth should bear the same responsibility is silly. Where did I say that? Again, see, just you don't listen. Hot cakes, maple syrup. I bet you're not hot, and I bet there's nothing about you mapley. I think all you are is cake syrup. Yeah, that's more like it. You're probably just fat cake syrup. No doubt you're fat. I guess the kid born with Down syndrome is as responsible as a perfectly healthy one. How do you even pervert what I said into that? And any such expectation? But there is a certain truth to the argument that is there any point in like wasting good money after bad kind of thing. Something goes wrong, you're going to keep spending more money to keep wrong, keep feeding the lemon. You bought a bad car, maybe it's time to just buy a better car and don't waste too much money on the broken ones. Is that fundamentally illogical? No, I think that's fundamentally logical. You don't want to cure anything, you just want to keep band-aiding everything. If I had a child born with Down syndrome, I would want all the wealth I accumulated over my lifetime to go to my child. My child, my child, my child. Well, that's because you're illogical. So you think you're Down syndrome child. So these are kids that have even less than real human personalities, right? So you think yours is special. My Down, it's mine. It's my little retard. You think your little retard needs a lot of money spent on it, where if it's born to a poor person, well, tough fucking shit. Fuck that retard in the ass. Yeah, oh man, yeah, you're so philosophically sophisticated. It's just incredible, pancake-eating douchebag. The estate tax is a punishment to all high-income earners. Now, it's not about income, it's about owned wealth, okay? So, again, just miss the whole idea of the fact that it's just a bunch of accumulated legacy ownership, and that there's nothing about that has anything to do with anything meritorious. There's nothing about it has anything to do with a fair fight. Obviously, the economy is a life and death struggle. Obviously, there's huge stakes, and you want to cheat. And that's all it comes down to. You're a cheater. You're a little weaselly cheater. You didn't earn it, and you think you're entitled. I shouldn't be discriminated against because I have more money than you. If you have more money than me without earning it, yes, you should be. You don't get that? You think you should have entitlement without earning. And you think earning is falling out of a vagina? You really think so, huh? Pancake brain? Yeah, fuck you. You're an idiot. It is against the progression of human rights and freedom. Oh, the what? The right to be born a blue blood. The right to your monarchy. So no king should ever be overthrown because the past king earned it for them. And so all the future kings have entitlement because the past king earned it. Right? Fuck you in the ass till dead and then run you over with a steamroller if possible. Fuck you, idiot. The spacecraft club solves a lot of problems here in the blue planet Earth. I mean, fuck you. What is that? What is this? I don't even understand it. I can't even come close to understanding it. Jesus Christ. Christ. Delete. I mean, I mean, fuck. It's pretty simple. Life is, by definition, dependency. It just depends on what you're dependent upon, if it's moral or not. In the case of prostitution, it's a crappy way to address men's needs in relationships. Oh, well, yeah, whatever. I'm not doing. It's not a recent video. It's the prostitution one. Whatever. I made my argument already. It's a perfectly coherent argument. If you're counter-arguing, you're not going to win, so fuck you. Honestly, I love your arguments and have opened my eyes to some hypocrisy which I have subscribed to. I'm good. I see you have previous comments here. Is there no federal government in a perfect libertarian society? Is there no federal government in a perfect libertarian society? I don't know. Are we on the brink of natural disaster? What are you asking me these questions for? Yeah, yes. And is there no federal government in a perfect libertarian? I don't know. You have to have government, whether you call it federal or not. That just means how big it is, right? Whether I think states are silly. So I would argue that whatever government you're going to have, make it good and make it do it right. So do it once and do it right, okay? I mean, I don't think humans in Texas are different, entitled to different liberty than humans. Okay, it's like minkies. If there was a zoo and you're going to have minky cages, I don't think the minky cages should be different in California or New York. It's the minkies that decide what they need. Okay, the nature of the minky. That's what you decide. So yeah, I don't really give a shit about this state crap. Gary, I agree with most of your views and your clear smart, although a bit of a misanthrope perhaps. However, I just wish you would title your videos better. Well, fuck you. I titled, it's a comment video, fuckhead. How am I going to title a comment video? It's about all kinds of shit. We have also been told that the appendix is a useless appendage. I don't know if it's really an appendage. I mean, it's an appendage on your fucking gastrointestinal tract, but I don't know if appendage isn't really the right word. But it is useless. I mean, mine was toxic and septic and, you know, almost killed me. But it's only when, you know, it's quite obviously it was an organ developed when we were animals in the wild and we're eating a bunch of toxic crap, and so it was like an extra gallbladder kind of thing, and that's what it's there. But it just has nothing to, you know, it just doesn't have any use since we evolved from being like rock eaters. I believe that there is some truth to the microbiome being the center where disease and health I don't care about this whole microbiome thingy. I mean, all these people obsessed. Look, quite obviously, the microbes you have living in you are important. I mean, I've had this problem with this yeast thing, and it's, you know, it's fucking me up and all that kind of crap. But to blame it on, you know, mental diseases and all that, you people are just so silly with this fucking whatever that crap is. I mean, they do studies on this stuff with rats, you know what I mean? I mean, it's just, you know, the game over, you know. They live better on, you know, a crappy diet, you know, undernourished and, you know, sugar cane or something, and they'll live longer than a balanced diet with the 7 food groups, blah 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 blah. Very good analysis. Agree once again. Who cares? Life is shit right up to the moment when it isn't. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. This sliced words. I fucked up my favorite list. I don't know. Why what does this have to do with anything? I don't understand why people choose to post incomprehensible jibber jabber. See, I told you, chap knows his onions. Nice one, Gary. Be gentle as always, but yes, awaken to the smartness. You're a bro. Yeah, we ain't bros. Douchebag. Anyway, so I think we're done. Oh, another pancake comment. Who is more likely to use resources? 1 billionaire born with a silver spoon in his mouth, or 1 million people with a net worth of $1,000? Well, yeah, you using resources again. You know, the billionaire uses the resource of wasted labor. So if you think of all the labor wasted on yachts and all the other crap, that marble floors and fancy this and fancy that, if you think of all the labor that went into all that stuff, the wealthy acquire, then you can understand that that amount of labor, that amount of work could create a Hoover Dam or something like that. So that's where the waste is. The billionaire only has one stomach. Well, again, the only place you can consume resources is not your stomach. You also consume it in your floor, in your ceiling, your walls, all that stuff. Your SUV, your Humvee. I'm pretty sure the billionaire is unable to consume just as much as 1 million people. Then you're pretty damn stupid. Yeah. The problem with our welfare society is we are making poor people too comfortable. Oh, amazing. With these luxuries. Yeah, go live poor. The poor people are populating because they lack an understanding of society. Well, that's a different subject. What they lack understanding is true, but they're not, go live poor. It isn't no fucking picnic. No dental care, no this. I mean, go down the list of all the things you have to live without. No one is talking about a major engine behind income inequality, which is the poor people populate 2% higher than their wealth counterparts. Yeah, well, the fact that poor people reproduce is part of the subject, and it's wrong, but there's no justification for the wealthy to consume the obscene amount of resources in terms of human labor that they squander and that they hoard. That hoarding increases prices. Houses cost so much because they're being bought with borrowed money. The borrowed money is being lent by interest whores. This will indeed increase income equality later. Well, again, this isn't about income. This is about goddamn capital gains and all the rest of that shit. Fuck face. This isn't about people going to work and making a salary. This is about people sitting on their ass making a salary. But fuck you. Fuck you. Disgusting piece of shit. I mean, really, living on inherited money, no doubt. Look, I mean, real working people, this argument doesn't have to be made. If you've had a shitty job for a couple of years, just even a couple of years of your life, if you spend it at McDonald's or you spend it digging ditches or doing any kind of shitty labor, you should have that should have given you an insight in how this is all bullshit. Because then you would have seen the racket, and you would have seen that none of these people who are making all this money know what the fuck they're doing. They're all fuck shits. They all know somebody, and that's how they got the job. Their brother-in-law, they're this, they're that, all this bullshit. You see all that shit, and you realize who's doing the real work. The people getting the least amount of money are doing the most amount of productive work. And that's just a fact. And, I don't believe that anybody who's done a little bit of hard work in a shitty job could ever talk the tripe that these fucking pancake eaters talk. I believe anarchists would rather have a dysfunctional government than have a hostile takeover. Well, whatever. What would be the purpose in electing representatives? Oh, amazing. You're just an average citizen with a special interest. You live in a country with more than 300 million people. Get used to that fact. Well, that is true. Oh, okay, this was the stupid Andrew the Red. Yeah, let me do his comment because he's such an asshole. My comment, by levels of concern, I meant that you could delegate your tax dollars to what you consciously value. Yeah, I got that part. I made it kind of clear that I got that part, so I really don't need you to tell me this is what I really meant to say. No, that's exactly what you can't do, okay? There's no way to do that in the real world, okay? If some people, take the vaccine, okay, and you say, well, let's just make it voluntary, well, then there's no point in the people taking the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? There's no point in me subjecting my children to the burden, the risk, if you're not going to force the other people to do it, because then its effectiveness is destroyed. It's like all those kind of policies. You all got to be all in or all out, but you can't be half in and half out. It's like if you have a defense system or something. Yeah, if other people are going to be riding on that, you know what I mean? It's like if you subsidize a train or something, then people expect, well, I didn't vote for a train, so I shouldn't have to pay any taxes to support the train. Well, then you shouldn't be riding the train. So you just can't live that way. You can't really function that way. There's infrastructure that has to be paid for. You have a democracy, you have a political fight, and then there's the winners and losers. But there's none of this, I don't choose to be part. No, fuck you. There's no independent islands you can live on. If you want to go live in one of those, then go do that. But don't go to some place called America, okay? Or don't go to a place that basically doesn't believe in everybody's an island. Fuck you. You're such a twat. I vote no to support foreign wars. Yeah, well, like whatever that means. What's a foreign war? Adolf Hitler, that would have been a foreign war. You just can't see. That's the whole point. You can't do it that way. You're either all in or you're all out. Either you're gonna be an American or you're gonna be go to Canada and be a fucking weasel like you. No to corporate welfare. Yes to shelters, etc. Yeah, well, again, this discretion doesn't work. It's not rational. You can't do policy that way because people will not voluntarily pay if they know the other people aren't going to be contributing. If the boat isn't going to get floated, they're not going to pay to patch half the holes in the boat. No one's going to waste their money saying, oh, okay, let's patch half the holes so the boat still sinks. Because we're not going to force anybody else to fix their holes. No point in me not littering if everybody else is going to litter. It's intrinsic. You should ridicule freeloaders. A good portion of society are and do not pay in as much as they take. Yeah, well, especially teachers. The point on libertarian was meant only to suggest it is the least government possible. Well, again, least by what standard? Least in what sense? You know, I just don't know if I'm just saying, what's the consequence of your libertarianism? Is a bunch of cheating, thieves, no accountability, no constructive or useful law enforcement because we're all, hey, none of us can have social security numbers. It's mandatory support only courts, law, and national defense. Well, you just said foreign wars are an obligation. Other political systems, in order for conservatives, adds progressively more mandatory items you are taxed to support with or without your consent. Well, again, it's not about your consent. It's about a democracy. You have a fight. You either win the fight or you lose the fight. But this wimpy shit of saying, I'm just going to knock the board over if I don't win. I mean, you're just saying it's my way or the highway. I don't play democracy if I don't win. All the way up to communism, which exasperates and manages all property, including the human beings. Well, again, whether it's managed or not, that just gets down to a benevolent dictator or benevolent democracy. So management without maliciousness or cheating seems perfectly rational. The basis of freedom question seemed to give you pause. It didn't give me pause in any negative sense whatsoever. I'm saying that the idea of what freedom is, I don't have freedom if I had to hire people to protect, let's say I had 3 daughters and they were hot, and I lived in some libertarian society where we don't have any fucking fingerprints and we don't have any way to catch criminals and blah, 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 blah. And so I have to worry about every rapist motherfucker and I have to pay money to have my daughters protected every day. I'm not free then, am I? If I have to put up barbed wire and I have to put up steel bars in my windows, am I free? I'm free to choose to live in a state that doesn't provide any punishment or deterrence for crime, where it's basically game on. I'm more free that way? No, I'm not more free. So my point is that there are other words that I think have to do with freedom,